John Cena's next WWE match has possibly been revealed. Plus, we have an update on WWE's lawsuit from Major League Wrestling and an update on AEW Streaming Service. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Did you see me?
Just now, yeah?
Oh, you couldn't see me before.
No, because you're under the table.
No, it's because I was doing my impression of John Cena.
All right, I get you. It's good, that.
Thanks, mate. Can't see me. You're just being rude.
Can you see me?
Get off! John Cena in the news today. Tell you for why. I see what you did there. You're eating pizza under the table.
That's what they call it.
John Cena in the news today. So WrestleVotes put out a tweet that then connected to some messages back and forth between John Cena and a potential new opponent. So WrestleVotes say, now that his push is in full effect, sources state he anticipates bigger and better things for Theory. A person with direct knowledge states that Vince, quote, sees a young John Cena in Theory and will, quote, give the kid everything he needs to be successful. Now, Theory went on to wish John Cena a happy birthday.
He did. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a better US champ than you, he told John Cena. Rude. And then Cena responded being a wholesome prick. It makes you sick when you try to have some fun with someone on social media. Set up an angle for a big professional wrestling live pay-per-view spectacular thing in the future, and they come back on their high horse and say something like, everyone understands that you have far more talent, strength, and gifts that I ever had. Don't apologize for that, ever. An apology should come 20 years from now if you fail to provide the effort needed to turn your potential into your legacy. I hope that day never comes. With a picture of a glass of whiskey, potentially. I don't know what that is.
I think it's just like a little toast, a little
oh, right.
cheers emoji.
Chin.
A little cheers.
Sick, John Cena, with your wisdom and years of experience of life, teaching these young whippersnappers how to rise above the hate and all that sort of stuff.
I really like that as like a kind of very calm SmackDown. Not the show, but an actual SmackDown. I remember going out for drinks with some friends from college, many years ago this, and there was this one lad there who just was constantly just giving little digs, just kind of constantly having to go. If I'd say something, he'd constantly, like, doing it deliberately. And so I just turned and said, if I tell you that you're far cooler and better than I am, will you leave me alone and let me have a drink? And he went, no, it was only a joke, mate.
That was a good John Cena impression.
That was kind of what it was, and I'm for it. So this has led numerous sources and wrestling reporters to put the pieces together, and John Cena Theory, potentially, maybe even WrestleMania next year.
I'm picturing next year's WrestleMania, a United States Championship Open challenge from Theory in the ring. Who should answer? Babe Ruth comes down there, but it's Cena instead, because that confusing WrestleMania 35
but it's
thing.
Actually Babe Ruth.
Yeah. Twats him on the head with a baseball bat. Babe Ruth is your new United States champion. But something like that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Harken back to 2K15, wasn't it, with the old Open Challenge?
I don't know whether they do it as Open Challenge. Like, maybe I think they'd have a little bit more build to this, where they would have sort of Theory in the same way that Cena called out The Undertaker for weeks and weeks and weeks. In the run-up to WrestleMania, have Theory go, right, I want to face John Cena at WrestleMania. Everyone keeps saying on the next John Cena, let me take out the old John Cena.
Yeah.
And either John Cena can go, no, I'm too busy, or no, he wouldn't go, I'm too busy. He'd go, look, you know what? Not now, kid. Not now. And then Cena can come out at WrestleMania.
Live, laugh, love. John Cena.
On a towel.
Something like that.
I've got tea towels like that at home, John Cena. Then I think you have Theory beat him.
Of course you do.
You have Theory.
Gotta happen.
I'd be nervous that they wouldn't. But I think you have Theory beaten. I mean, if you're going this way.
If Vince McMahon sees a young John Cena in Theory and will give the kid everything he needs to be successful, surely he beats John Cena with a plumb.
Yeah, or a finishing move.
Yeah.
Either or. Ronda Rousey was chatting on the Wrestling with Wives podcast. She talked about her WWE run that she's currently on, some of the stuff that she's good at and not so good at in the WWE ring. She says bumping is one of the easier things for me. I love bumping on the outside. It's one of my favorite things because I always get such a great reaction. Doesn't really feel like much to me.
Wrestlers are a different breed of
They
human,
really
aren't they?
aren't they?
I would be bruised like a peach after bumping on the floor. I'd be crying over my mum. Ronda's there, I love it.
You know what I love today, right? I went to work and I fell on the concrete. What doesn't she like, though? Well, she says, remembering it is hard. I'm not like a seasoned veteran or anything like that. This past Mania, I was like, I don't have this down at all. We're about to go out there, and I'm like, I don't know what this match is. I don't know all this match yet. But all the parts where I wasn't sure what was next, I could get a cue from somebody else. I'm very much dependent on who else I am in there with to make the match itself and to guide me when I am out there. I am a smoke and mirrors business. Wow! She's a Cody Rhodes. But I've only had a year and a half of experience. People forget that a lot. That's the bit, like, I know we rag on Ronda Rousey's recent run regularly on the news videos, but that's the bit about wrestling that I'm always fascinated by, which is the memory, the recall.
We got first-hand experience of this at WCPW back in the day, and the bit before the show where the crowd were let in, all the wrestlers around the ring literally calling their matches move by, well, some of them were move by move, and like, you do this, and then we'll go up the top rope, and then we'll go ba-da-ba-ba, and then we'll go this, and ba-da-ba-ba-ba. They're all making noises like that, Tom, and they remember it all. You sit back and watch the match from later on. I'm sure one of us took notes once upon a time and said, let's see if they can actually do it move for move for move, as they're doing so right now before the show goes on the air. And they do it. It's incredible. Actors as well. I don't know how actors do it. Actors and wrestlers. Incredible people.
Incredible. Yeah, it differs with an actor as well. It's like if you do screw up a bit, you just go, okay, we'll do that again.
Yeah.
The wrestlers, it's just all out there live. I guess, it's no different to theatre or whatever, but it's still very impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're doing all that. Plus, you've got to remember. Sorry, I knocked your elbow there. See, bad planning. Because you've also got to remember. Okay, also, I've got to make sure everything looks good. I've got to react to the crowd.
The hard cam's over
the
there.
Hard camera's there. I've got to make sure I don't fall on my head. I've got to make sure they don't fall on their head. Like, drink my water, get 8 hours sleep. You've got to remember all that. It's a lot involved.
Yeah.
MLW. Let's move over to there. So, to bring you up to speed, MLW back in January alleged that WWE interfered intentionally with contractual discussions between them and Vice, as well as them and Tubi TV. This led to a lawsuit from MLW. WWE filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit recently, saying this was the lawsuit actually where they famously acknowledged, AEW came along and did brilliant business.
They used that 1 week's ratings, didn't they, where AEW beat them quite handsomely in some form or fashion. I can't remember which one it is, to be honest with you. And they were like, that proves we're not a majority in the wrestling world or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I found staggering.
It's amazing, isn't it, when they just go, well, they're better than us, sure,
Bloody
go after them.
Jerry McDevitt. Magician.
He is, isn't he?
Oh.
He's a wrestling magician.
Get him on Johnny Depp's side.
So therefore, MLW responded to this motion to dismiss from WWE, saying their motion to dismiss should be denied. WWE impermissibly relies on factual assertions, many provably false, that may not be considered on this motion, and contrary to WWE's contentions, MLW properly pleaded all of its claims for relief. And then they go on to reiterate points made prior about WWE blocking platforms from working with them. The trial and the case continues.
And I will not comment because I don't want to go in that courtroom myself.
No, that's good to stay away from there. Can you instead comment on AEW's streaming services? Because there's a teeny update on this.
It happened on What Happened When? As Conrad likes to say, with Tony Schiavone, as Chris Jericho used to call him back in the day, where Tony said the Khans are pretty plugged in. That's what's different about this era, is that if Time Warner / Discovery doesn't want us, we will still have a business. I think there's always some concern, but that we've built a very good relationship with Warner Media. Shoney, should we start again?
We're not starting again.
Terrible morning for news.
Time.
Tony then goes, well,
these are the best news videos we've ever done.
Yes, they are rubbish. But Tony's then basically saying, because of these things, could there be an app and a streaming service in the future for AEW? So it would appear that the door is slightly ajar for something like that for AEW to happen.
He does believe that the merger coming along will actually help that. He says, because they're clearing out a lot of people and they're really into streaming services, that this should open the door for them to do that. We know Tony Khan has had some really positive conversations with Warner Discovery about Ring of Honor. And I know that there's a lot of big changes going on there. I think a lot of people like CNN Plus got canned a month after it started. This revolutionary new streaming news service, the Discovery just went, nah, mate. So they are looking to make some wild changes across the platform, but it could actually play into AEW's favor. I know a lot of people kind of make comparisons between sort of WCW and the Time Warner merger and AEW and the Warner Discovery merger, but I think there's a lot of different pieces in play here, a lot of different moving parts to this one. A
As
lot
long
of
as-
love for wrestling in this particular circumstance.
As long as they stay away from Peacock, we're all fine.
Stay way away.
We're still savouring the time over here without Peacock.
I'm enjoying every day with the WWE Network.
Yeah.
I take it out for long walks in the park. We've been to the beach together.
I took it to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Wine dined and 69.
This has been a sexy news video.
Very sexy.
And more sexy news can be found at cultaholic.com. Stay safe.
Sexy.
Love you. Bye. We'll start again.